The original title of this video was How the Los Angeles Lakers franchise became a nightmare. I had to change it because this isn't a nightmare. It's not a dream you're gonna wake up from. The Lakers are a disaster for years to come. Hi, my name is TPR. Welcome to the Per Sources YouTube channel. In order to understand how the Los Angeles Lakers franchise became this disaster and why they're gonna be in trouble for years to come, we're gonna have to rewind a little bit and go down memory lane.
The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
Maybe not that far back.
This got interesting. Hey, come back to Force OT. You got the friends here.
You feel me? We back in the building. Y'all thought we was gone. My man Jay Lane was doing his thing. Jay Hill doing his thing.
Nick out there hitting his free throws. You know how he do it. You know, Jay Lane going to the basket like it ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Mike, man, you got a nice suit on today too, man.
Appreciate that, Swag.
You got
that as well.
Now, would that happen if you were there? Would there be a celebration?
Unfortunately for the Lakers, they were dealing with two major issues. The first, Kobe Bryant, their franchise player, arguably the greatest player in franchise history, the man that built Staples Center, tore his Achilles. And the second, Los Angeles kind of lost his pizzazz. But it's the Lakers, right? They can only struggle for so long. The Lakers couldn't just sit around and accept losing. They're the Lakers. They have one of the most passionate fan bases in the NBA. They expect greatness. They expect to win. They expect to compete for championships.
Home of the greatest franchise in sports, the LA Lakers.
Similar to the San Antonio Spurs, Dallas Mavericks, Miami Heat, when you lose that franchise player, the legend, someone that's been with your organization for many years, you have to rebuild, and that process is very difficult.
And the crowd booing here at Crypto.com Arena, understandably so.
The rebuilding process, there's no formula for the best way to do it. There's numerous ways to do it. And when you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you just assume people want to come to play for the Lakers, so maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive with your decision making compared to smaller markets like OKC.
Home of the greatest athlete in the world today, LeBron James, the King. Woo!
Regardless of how you go about rebuilding, you need a strategy. And to come up with a strategy, you need a good leader, a good president of basketball operations in place, and some good collaboration within the organization, which is a lot harder if you have many cooks in the kitchen and run your business, as many in the league would describe as still a mom and pop shop. Some of the best executives in the NBA have the trust of their organization, their ownership. When you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, things can get messy and it's hard to make final decisions, not just that affect your franchise this year, next year, but for years to come. And the Lakers are perhaps the most guilty of that in the NBA. One glaring example of that was a few years ago when they were trying to hire a head coach just before they hired Frank Vogel. Look at this, the Lakers contingent, a contingent, dude, included not only owner Jeannie Buss and general manager Rob Pelinka, but also look at all these people. Joey Buss, who does God knows what, Jesse Buss, who does God knows what, Chief Operating Officer Tim Harris, and Director of blah blah Linda Rambis, and Senior Advisor Kurt Rambis as well. Dude, how many people? A lot of cooks in the kitchen. Y'all see that? When describing the word nepotism, you could use the dictionary version, or you could just say the Los Angeles Lakers.
To me, the Lakers situation and the Knicks are parallel. I always said it was when keeping it, nepotism goes wrong.
That name, Kurt Rambis, seems to get singled out quite a bit.
Kurt Rambis, who's a part of this dysfunction in LA.
Is this all Kurt Rambis' fault?
So who's picking?
Tomorrow noon, actually.
Was it Kurt that's going to pick T-Lou staff?
So what you saying, that Kurt Rambis is behind all this dirt?
It might be unfair to call the Los Angeles Lakers a dysfunctional organization, and it's certainly unfair to single out one person. However, when the smoke there's fire, and dysfunction does start at the top.
But the dysfunction obviously starts at the top anywhere, period, anywhere.
In hindsight, a lot of people point to that period of time when they were looking to hire a head coach. They disrespected a championship head coach in Tyronn Lue by offering him only 3 years and insisting on picking his staff. I'm not blaming Joe Vogel for any of the Lakers' problems, to be honest. However, I can't help but notice that Tyronn Lue is making magic happen in Los Angeles despite having 2 of his superstars injured. Lakers Nation are always arguing as to who to blame. Should they blame ownership? Should they blame Russell Westbrook? Should they blame Frank Vogel? I do have to come in defense of Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel did win a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. That Lakers team that won a championship had an identity. That identity, the Lakers moved from. When constructing a roster, building a team, and trying to figure out your identity, some teams rely on advanced analytics. Other GMs prefer to use a little bit more of the eye test to figure out what pieces could be a fit. The Lakers, on the other hand, they use neither, and I don't think they have for years. The Lakers are swinging for those home runs. They are star chasing, baby. And this isn't the first time they have gone star chasing.
And we're hopeful that 10 years from now, we can add a jersey onto that wall over there that says Dwight Howard.
To be a part of this great franchise and an opportunity to win a championship.
As we all know, the star chasing never stopped for the Lakers. They eventually were able to land LeBron James, who probably wanted to live in Los Angeles anyways, and they eventually traded the whole farm for Anthony Davis. Yes, it led them to a Mickey Mouse bubble championship. However,
the Lakers are definitely struggling. If you put LeBron around the right guys, he's definitely going to win. So, I think whoever put that team together needs to step up and try to fix it.
I agree with Shaquille O'Neal. If you put a great team around LeBron James, he is going to win. And whoever made the Lakers roster, whoever put that together, they do need to step up. But isn't that the question? Who did put the Lakers roster together? Is there another cook in the kitchen? Why, yes, there is. I'll get to the Westbrook thing in a second. But first, I'd like to prove to you guys that there is another cook in the kitchen. But first, in order for me to prove it to you guys, I need you to answer something in the comment section below. Don't think about this question too long. Just go with your gut. And if you really need to, spend the time to do the research, then answer. The question is, who would you rather have? Alex Caruso or talentless Horton Tucker? Keep in mind that if you're building a team around LeBron James, you want shooters, you want guys that want to play defense, you want guys that want to fight for the 50-50 balls, you want guys that play their hearts out. You do not need a point guard, right? LeBron James can do that. What he can't do is hustle 48 minutes a game. He can't fight for every single possession. He's a little too old for that. So if you were building a team, who would you rather have between the two? I know who LeBron should have around him, but there are other cooks in the kitchen. You guessed it, Rich Paul and Clutch Sports. This is not the first time LeBron James and his team have shot themselves in the foot by doing business with Clutch Sports. However, this one is going to go under the radar because we're not talking about a major player here, but I just can't believe that the Lakers let Alex Caruso go. He meant so much to that championship team. He was like the perfect role player for LeBron James, and the money difference is not that different. They had bird rights. They could have kept Alex Caruso. However, the Lakers ownership does like to be frugal, and they chose talentless Horton Tucker over Alex Caruso. Too many chefs in the kitchen. That is one move of many that just don't make sense for the Lakers. Combine that with the fact that they're always star chasing. They're going for that home run. They traded several pieces for Russell Westbrook. The Lakers have moved far from their championship identity. They used to be a great defensive team. They went and traded some of their best defenders for a point guard that can't shoot. I love Russell Westbrook. I might be the biggest Westbrook fan on the planet. However, there is one team in the NBA where Westbrook absolutely does not fit, and that is playing alongside LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Mention it again. Teams that are trying to build their roster use a couple different ways to evaluate it. They can use advanced analytics. They can choose an identity and use the eye test and pick which players fit into those slots. The Lakers have done neither of those for years now. You might be thinking, it's all good. We'll just write this season off and we'll address it in the summer. It gets worse. It gets worse, Lakers fans. The Lakers haven't done a great job developing young talent, and any good young talent they had, they've traded away. In addition to that, they don't exactly have much flexibility or the luxury to do anything with trading picks and things like that until like 2026. And do you really want to trade away your future 3 years from now, when 3, 4, 5 years from now, when LeBron's going to be 40 something? Is that a smart thing to do? And on top of that, the Lakers have an abysmal salary cap situation. When Westbrook opts in, negative $55 million. The Lakers have no salary cap. They're going to need to offer a first-round pick. And again, do Lakers fans want to do that? The reality is they bet everything on Anthony Davis being the future of the organization. And maybe he could come back and be healthy and dominate for years to come and be the player they hoped and dreamed he would be. However, he's always injured, guys. It's sad to see. It's like any little thing that happens to him, he's out. And that's very frustrating for LeBron James and Lakers fans to deal with. Rumors are that GMs around the league believe that the Lakers need to trade LeBron James and Anthony Davis to salvage the future of their franchise. Many other critics believe that the Lakers are screwed for years to come. A lot of them think that LeBron James is just going after Kareem's record and, his days of winning are behind him. He's just interested in scoring a lot of points and dishing out assists, and he's there for his kids in Hollywood. The per sources faithful Lakers fans are probably going, hey TPR, stop with the doom and gloom. Give us some good news. Give us something to look forward to. Maybe some advice. And if I was a Lakers organization, the first thing I would do is figure out who the heck is in charge. And if it is Rob Pelinka, why is there any other voices around in the organization? Why do I have to hear that ownership approved of Frank Vogel benching Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter? That should not happen. There needs to be one leader, at least one leader in the public with his team and people supporting him, not him being pulled in different directions, listening to different voices in the organization. From there, it's simple. If you want to just keep filling up seats and selling tickets and, keeping Lakers Hollywood, bring the celebrities in, sure. Keep LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Well, what do you have to lose? However, if your intention is to return to a championship team sooner rather than later, and by sooner I mean 5+ years from now instead of 20+ years from now, the Lakers have to make the tough decision and trade their big three. To be honest, I don't think the market for LeBron James and or Anthony Davis is as high as Lakers fans and Lakers ownership would like it to be. However, you have to get something. You need to get some of your picks back, and you need to open up some of that salary cap so that you can begin to rebuild and do it the right way. Do it the way you were doing it before you caved for, signing the greatest of all time, for better or worse. As a Celtics fan, I am very happy to see the Lakers going through this, and they will continue to go through this for years because I have no faith in their leadership. But as an NBA fan, the NBA is better when the Lakers are great and when LeBron James has an actual chance to win. Anyone that thinks that the Lakers have an actual chance to win this season is fooling themselves. I'm curious, what would you do if you were the Lakers leadership, leaders ownership, leaders management group? What would you do? Would you trade LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Is there any other trade scenario you can see where the Lakers can put something together and give LeBron one more chance at a championship in Los Angeles? I'm very curious to hear what you guys think, and if you agree with me that the Lakers are in a very tough situation and their only 5-year plus escape is trading their assets this summer. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and joining the debate in the comment section. I read all the comments, so if you want to disagree with me and try to change my mind, I welcome it. Hey guys, I enjoy making these videos. I love the NBA. TPR per sources here. If you guys want me to cover another team, a particular player, just let me know in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and till next time, per sources misses nothing.
The Lakers stink!